But that's not to say I'm not privileged. I mean, yeah, I definitely am.
Why we?
Maybe not in extravagant socioeconomic terms like seemingly everyone else around me in school, but privileged nonetheless. And although middle class is a highly questionable and debatable term, I did go to a rich kid school. Yeah, I wasn't rich, but my parents could definitely afford to and actively chose to put me in that school. One of their many, many grave mistakes. I'm sure you can guess at least another one of their bigger mistakes in life. But this one was especially terrible because it's going to be hanging over my head for the rest of my life. At every point, I'm going to be plagued by these thoughts of, fuck, if I had money, that could be me. And I'm not blaming these rich kids for it, it's through no fault of their own. The concept of deserving or undeserving does not exist. I mean, we do what we can with the resources that we have, and I'm not blaming them for being born rich. I am blaming them for living in an echo chamber where they don't acknowledge the immense fucking privilege that they have. For believing that everything that they have is solely because of their efforts alone, and for believing that they are superior to everyone else and that their arrogance and disdain for others below them is acceptable because others are not as hardworking or talented or intelligent or successful as they are. And if anyone else is struggling, it's because they're lazy and deserve it. As if their own social or academic or professional standing is a reward for their individual existence and labor and not simply a product of their social status, expendable resources, and generational wealth. In simpler terms, do I hate them? Of course not. Do I respect them on some level for whatever hard work that I'm sure they have had to put in to get to where they are now? Sure. Do I sympathize with them for the challenges that I am sure that they have also had to face on their journey? Do I ever see myself helping them out if they were actively on fire in front of me? Do I often have thoughts of smacking a bitch upside the face when I see them brag about their so called achievements and talk down derisively to people who do not share these achievements, or when they deny their institutional and societal privilege and claim it doesn't exist in the first place? Finally, a question I can answer. Yes, I do. But let's get back to talking about my parents' mistakes. I think one very important aspect of this discussion should be that would I still feel this keen sense of inferiority or scarcity, like I'm seriously lacking in resources, or this constant state of uncertainty or fear about the future if I didn't go to this school? And I think the answer would still be yes. I mean, definitely not as strongly as I feel it now, and definitely not as obviously noticeable with real life examples, but yes. Because, yeah, I didn't inherit a career from my parents, but I definitely inherited their poverty mindset, which can be dumbed down to just a constant sense of lacking. Lacking in resources, lacking in peace of mind, lacking in the sense of safety or security that money provides you with. Just a sense of, can I afford this? Do I deserve this? Am I being greedy? Is this a luxury? Do I need this to survive? Can I get by without it? Or just choosing, always having to choose this or that, which is cheaper, which won't weigh on my conscience as much, which isn't expensive enough to make me feel guilty about it for so long that the hours spent feeling guilty and indecisive far exceed the actual worth of the item, which will strongly trigger my sense of lacking that it's better to not buy it at all. And I'm not talking about materialistic goods, I'm talking about fucking necessities. I'm talking about not eating for the rest of the day because you spent more than you can afford to on one meal already. I'm talking about ignoring bodily pains or toothaches or whatever until it's debilitating enough that you have to go see a doctor. And that you have to make up for by depriving yourself of shit for the rest of the month because your insurance didn't cover it and you were forced to spend extravagantly. Although material goods is another discussion entirely, of just hoarding years and years of crap, not because you want it or because you're emotionally attached to it, but because of the desperate fear that if you throw it out today, then you won't have it for tomorrow should you need it. And you already know what that feels like, and you definitely don't want to feel that way ever again. And the worst part of this is, we weren't even poor. We didn't have to do these things. Or rather, I didn't have to do these things. I didn't have to live like this. I internalized a lot of these poverty behaviors because we existed in this state of deprivation for a long time. And worse than deprivation, it was self-deprivation. Not because we were miserly, but because it grew out of a state of uncertainty and never knowing what the next couple of years would bring. A constant state of complete fucking dependency on the market and the economy and other words that make absolutely no sense to me. But as foreign as they are, they've definitely been more of an active member of my family than I have ever been, at least in terms of their contribution towards the familial structure and ever-present suspense and drama and tension and conflict in the many forms of recessions and layoffs and unemployment and familial economic crisis and yeah. My entire childhood and adolescence and adulthood actually has been marked by this uncertainty of never knowing what's gonna happen, never knowing if we can afford to continue living somewhere or doing something, or if this life of relative comfort will come crashing down the very next day. As it often did. Like, really, I have the tally marks to prove it. And every choice, every decision, whether education or career or fucking anything, man, people I hang out with, places I go to, so-called fucking hobbies, everything always has the sword of scarcity hanging over my head, influencing my every thought, my every decision, just everything. But then again, if it wasn't for counting pennies and living how we did, we probably wouldn't have had the life that we did. I wouldn't have been able to go to the rich kid school in the first place, or pursue decent higher education, or anything for that matter, even with the ongoing cycles of economic crises. And as better off as I am in comparison to so many people, as privileged as I am in terms of religion, caste, ability, being cisgender, and honestly even class, because rich kid school, remember? I just cannot appreciate or be grateful for or be satisfied with the achievements and privilege that I do have. And it's because of this cursed upbringing marked by instability and this stupid middle class mindset that doesn't even exist. And also because I know what it's like on the other side. Freshly mown, manicured grass that is resistant to any and all weather conditions and can never be over or underwatered or trodden on by idiots who trod on grass or shat on by the neighbor's dog, or I just can't get it out of my head. The permanently pinned thought of, I wish I had money. And it's all I ever think about every single day. Not all day, every day, but every day. Because every single day is marked by experiences that wouldn't even exist or could be made significantly better just by the existence of money. And for someone who's constantly thinking of money all the fucking time, I don't make very much. And sure, yeah, there's gonna be fuckwits saying, more money, more problems. Yeah, no, maybe you're just a dumb fucking fool who loves to deny the fact that in this capitalistic world that we live in, the root of every single problem is the lack of money. Maybe you have money and you're still not happy because you're straight up fucking stupid and should probably get around to putting that money to some good fucking use instead of wasting it or hoarding it and get a damn therapist. God, how I wish I had money for a therapist. I wish I could sympathize with you. However, for me, money would solve every single one of my problems. Every single one, no joke. And probably for everyone else as well. The millionaires and billionaires are not gonna let you into their little group chat because you're so vehemently backing them up. Spiritual leaders aren't going to have shrines dedicated to you because you foolishly went around spouting crap like there's more to life than money. Money doesn't bring you happiness. Some things can't be bought with money. Like, shut up. Just please, just shut up. Never speak again. We are talking about a world that works solely on the basis of money. Yes, it's merely a social construct, but lives depend on it, you stupid bitch. People today are dying because they cannot afford basic resources to just survive, because we need money to merely exist. People are working multiple jobs and are still living hand to mouth, while others are the first in history to ever have a net worth exceeding $200 billion. Do you know how many zeros there are in a billion? Have you ever Googled it? Do you know how many billionaires there are in the world? Do you know how many people die every day from hunger and poverty? Both of these extremes exist parallelly and in correlation. We live in a society that only seeks to serve those with money. So please just stop talking. I mean, that's not to say I only hate billionaires. I also dislike the regular obscenely rich people with their fucking health insurance and shit. But I'm just saying. And no, I'm not talking about wanting billionaire status. I'm not talking about sheer fucking greed. I'm not talking about having an Olympic-sized heated swimming pool in my house. I am not talking about massive amounts of wealth accrued from exploitation. I am talking about fulfilling basic needs of safety and esteem. I mean, yeah, I'm not struggling to fulfill my everyday physiological needs, and I'm so incredibly privileged even today. But does that mean I'm not allowed to wish for more? Forget more, or simply wanting equal opportunities that are being denied to me because they can only be afforded by the rich. Am I not allowed to even hope for stability or security when my whole life has been marked by a severe lacking of the same? Security that for some reason can only be bought by money. Does what I do have nothing to do with it? Like, who cares about grades or GPAs or passion for learning or skills or talents or competencies or whatever? Am I to be stuck in this cycle of so-called middle class or mediocrity just because as an individual nobody matters? It's always about who your parents are, who your grandparents are, and what they can give you. Am I just gonna be stuck here forever, always thinking about money? And how different my life would be if I had so much more? And yeah, maybe it might not be in terms of happiness or fulfillment, but at least peace of mind, where my present isn't always blurred by the veil of inferiority and the dreams I couldn't afford. Not because I'm not good enough, but because I don't have anything else to back it up with. And the older I get, all I can think of when I'm done crying into my toilet is, I didn't think I'd still be here at this point in life. And as I grow older, the distance between me and my peers only keeps growing, and it feels like there's nothing I can do to bridge the void. Because there's only so much I can achieve within these predetermined confines that society has already set for me. And it's still not enough. And no, this is not a complaint of me not receiving the things I deserve because I'm so incredible and so much more talented and pretty, and yes, this is my natural nose. I didn't have to buy it with daddy's money like other people. Absolutely not. It may well be that the reason that I'm getting nowhere in life is because I'm incompetent as fuck, even with all the privilege that I already have. But that's what I'm saying, the money helps. I'm not saying these rich kids are stupid. God, no. Not all rich kids are the same, okay? Stop stereotyping them. Everybody has their own struggle. Sabka struggle alag hota hai. But yes, some of them are intelligent and hardworking, and good for them that they're getting into Ivy League universities or doing incredible things for their age because they are talented. I'm not denying that. But what about the incompetent rich kids who are on par with them, who have done nothing, who don't want to do anything, and don't really even care about what it means to be where they are right now, and simply happen to be there because, well, as a great quartet once said, money, money, money must be funny in a rich man's world. Money, 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 always sunny in a rich man's world. All the things I could do if I had a little money. It's a rich man's. Basically, what I'm saying is, it doesn't matter if you're intelligent or incompetent as long as you've got stacks. All the other kids who aren't rich and have achieved incredible fucking things for themselves, despite not having the same class or caste or religious or any other privilege that I do, have had to work twice or thrice as hard. And I'm just saying that I don't want to. Anyway, all that we do is romanticize their journey. Like, oh, if they can do it, then so can everyone else. No. Yeah, I don't think so. These people are brilliant and have had to work so incredibly fucking hard. It's not a sign of how privilege no longer exists and that it's just an excuse for laziness and that anyone can do it if they really wanted to and if they put their minds to it. No! If anything, it's a sign of how they're a diamond in the rough. That through sheer determination alone, they've overcome the structural and institutional obstacles in their way. It's a 1 in a million chance and they took it and made it. It doesn't work that way for everyone, especially not when you're already at the top of the ladder and are rewarded just for existing. And that's what I want to be. All I've ever wanted to be in my entire life. I don't want to fucking work my ass off. I don't want to have to put in 10 times as much work as some incompetent rich fuck just to have a chance at equal opportunities. I don't want my success story to be twisted and narrated in a way to focus solely on my hard work when really all that I am is a product of my privilege. I want to be an incompetent rich fuck lounging around at the peak of society's elevation without ever having lifted a finger and never having to wonder why or how I got there. I don't want to have to constantly question my privilege and see how I'm failing despite all the resources that I do already have. and then wondering if I deserve anything that I have accomplished, and lie awake at night thinking about how I'm a failure despite all of it. I don't want to have to look at someone accomplishing incredible fucking things without having all the privilege that I have and then feeling terrible about myself for being incompetent. I don't want to be constantly comparing myself to people and wondering if I'm good enough or if I'm doing enough or have enough or if things will start falling apart again. I don't want to have to wonder if, as uncertain and unstable as things are right now, if this is as good as it's ever going to get. I don't want to have to do any of these things. I don't want to have to think about privilege and competency and hard work and anything. All I want to be is rich. That's all I really want for myself. Honestly, it doesn't even seem like very much to be asking for. So, if you're like a sugar daddy, hit me the fuck up, bitch. Or even if you aren't, send that dough my way, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah, that's about it. Okay, bye.